investigations, which could make a difference in the rates assessed in the final determination. The Asian Paper Association filed an appeal on the decision on March 3rd, 2010. The next steps are, they will occur as the case proceeds. Each of these steps is vital to ensuring that the unfair trade practice are addressed. On April 28th, the Department of Commerce will issue its preliminary determination in the anti-dumping duty investigation. On an ongoing basis, the government will conduct a further examination, including site visits, to obtain additional facts to guide them in making their final anti-dumping and countervailing duty determinations. In the fall, the International Trade Commission will conduct a public hearing to hear the arguments of each side as it prepares its final decision as to whether the domestic industry is injured or threatened with injury by reason of imports of Chinese and Indonesian coated paper. I'd like to leave you with these two final points. Since 2002, about 60,000 jobs have been lost in the overall paper sector. We have seen this type of job loss in Maine. The case that has been filed affects the jobs of 6,000 workers who still produce these products and whose jobs are at risk from these unfairly traded products. Enforcing our trade laws isn't protectionism. It will ensure that confidence in the rule of law and our nation's trade policies can be maintained. Our trading partners who use this language are simply seeking to protect their own mercantilist practices and continue to engage in unfair trade. The public is sick and tired of how the deck is stacked against us, and they want our laws enforced. All they want to know is that when they work hard and play by the rules, that their government will fight for their interests. Today I have with me three individuals that would like to relate to you personally how the dumping of this paper will affect them, their families, and communities. We would like the Citizens Trade Policy Commission to write letters to the Department of Commerce and to the International Trade Commission in support of the paper trade case, and if possible, to recommend the same to our governor. In going around and talking to people and being in these areas, spending a lot of time in Rumford and Skowhegan, we have upwards to 5 generations of paper makers in these mills. Seeing the product, I would stack our people and our product up against anybody in the world. The thing that we're asking for, let us go head to head. Give us a level playing field. Win, lose, or draw, then it's up to us. But we can't be, the scales can't be so weighed against it that we don't even have a shot. Any questions?
Thank you, Mr. Lawson. Very, very good presentation. Representative Patrick?
Thank you, Chairman Jackson. Dan, I was wondering if you could actually explain what type of reception you're getting when you go to local municipal governments and stuff like that from the standpoint of support.
And everyone that we've gone to so far, we have not had one bit of trouble getting it on the agenda. It's been passed. At every time that we've made the presentation, it's been passed. We haven't been turned down yet. At one town, I'll leave the name off, the town manager told us our selectmen don't sign resolutions. Ron Hemingway did an excellent job at a presentation there. It was passed 5-0. We've not had one negative vote yet on any presentation that we've done to a town.
Senator Sherman?
I appreciate what you have here. Another piece of information I'd like to have, I think it's worthwhile, is the fiscal impact of what's taking place here. I mean, we're talking hundreds of millions of dollars that's involved in this.
Yes.
And I assume somewhere that has been worked through. On the fibers purchase, the impact of the state of Maine on its revenues that we're a little slow on right now. And so I don't know if someone has done that, but that would another piece of information that people should be aware of. The 6,000 people are paid, and suppliers that get paid, and we all know how that money filters through, so that, to me, that's another important piece of information.
And I don't have that with me. I mean, that's why I have people that are gonna tell their story of how it's impacted them. We do realize that the ripple effect on jobs, how it affects, it's just not those 4,000 people that we have working in Maine, or the 2,000 people that we have working in Maine. It just mushrooms out.
Yeah.
It brings to mind that the other night, sitting at home watching the news, and I saw the story about Stinson Cannery, that they're saying it's 130 jobs. My first thought was, it's not 130 jobs, because they're not counting the truck drivers that supply the place. The money that those people get paid, they spend in that town, the restaurants, their discretionary spending will be gone. That's going to affect all those jobs.
No, I
Keep
agree
working
with
it
you,
out.
and we're missing a railroad, maybe from Milwaukee to Madawaska. We've done financial impact studies, and you're talking millions and millions of dollars.
Yes.
That may impact even southern Maine, when the fiber comes south to Skowhegan out of on that rail line. So the impact for us is 1,000 jobs or better and tens of millions of dollars. LP could be anywhere in the country, and they have to be up there with $200 million expansions. They need the railroad. So I understand very well, and just would, there's a multiplier effect that, you know, a dollar bill goes through 5 hands, I think, and that, I like to see the big numbers, because these are big numbers, just as you said.
And I can make sure that I have that for you for the hearing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Carly, do you have a question?
Well, you may answer it, but has there already been job loss directly related to these unfair trade practices here in Maine?
Well, if you look at the type of paper that's involved in this and go back to when it first started, Eastern Fine Paper is a fine example. They tried to rebound from it by trying to make another grade. It was almost too late by the time they realized what was happening. They got that 30% that they have from somewhere, and this is one of the companies that was making that paper. So you're looking at all those jobs in the Bangor Brewer area.
Representative Treat?
Yeah, you asked us to, one of your requests is that we also convey to the governor's office, but I'm wondering whether, are you planning to directly speak with the governor's office about it?
We are trying.
You're just trying?
Well,
I
we're
mean,
trying to get
able
a point.
yeah.
We haven't pushed it yet.
Yeah.
What we wanted to do was to make sure that we had the grassroots
Yeah.
in these towns, and now some of the other towns that we've reached out to are other mill towns in the surrounding where the people who work in those mills actually work, live. We want to make sure that we are not just 4 or 5 towns going to talk to the governor. Once we get our base a little bit larger, so we think we have enough support, that's when we'll be meeting with the governor.
Yeah, no, and I think it's very good that you're coming to us, because we include the executive representatives as well as legislative and community representatives. But if we do decide to move forward on this, then I think a parallel track would also be to just directly also talk with the governor.
And I realize that probably happened after the hearing in May, so.
Mr. Hartz?
Can you talk a little bit about how the Department of Commerce has responded to this, where the pushback has come from, and what's anticipated at the International Trade Commission in terms of pushback?
Well, I'm more of the local hands-on person here in Maine. What I've included in the packet is the latest press releases that explains the duties that have been imposed. As soon as the decision was made to put the duty on it, the Asian Paper Association filed an immediate appeal. Their question is, well, what about our workers? Well, that's been the pushback from that side, and I'm sure that during the hearings, it'll get pretty hot and heavy on both sides on what it's really doing.
But in Commerce, Department of Commerce, there's got to be some